Hey, what's up, guys? Mr. Cruz here to go over two-step equations. So look at that. That's a live footage of myself. With two-step equations, we kind of went over this, but I'm going to go over these notes again so that you guys have them. So you're going to hear me say a bunch of the same stuff you heard me say before. So two-step equations, but this time is going to be harder. The reason it's going to be harder is because we are going to have what's called a big division bar, or I would kind of consider it like a big multiplication sign. But it really just means parentheses. So usually when we've been doing two-step equations, we are either adding or subtracting first, right? You draw your river, you box up your variable. Usually you're left with adding or subtracting first. And then you multiply and divide next, right? We multiply and divide second. But this time we're going to have a big division bar, or we're going to have parentheses. Parentheses would be the same thing as having like a big multiplication sign. I'm going to show you guys what they look like. But with these specific problems, whenever you're solving two-step equations and they look like this, either they have parentheses or they have a big division bar, you are going to be multiplying or dividing first. So pretty much the rules are going to be flipped. All right. So let's go with this first example. So we're solving for m. See how I would say this, right? Because it's important that we understand how to say it. I would say this is -1 equals the difference of m minus 6 divided by -3. The reason I would say difference of is because I see that as being subtracted, but me saying the difference of m minus 6 divided by 3 lets me know that I have to divide, or that I have to subtract m and 6 first, and then I'm dividing what the answer is. So let's go ahead and do our steps. We draw a river. When I'm boxing my variable, I'm boxing up everything that's up top, and I'm left with divided by -3. Instead, right, I got to do the opposite. Instead, I'm going to multiply by -3. This side over here is going to cancel out, but when I multiply by -3 again, over here on this side, -1 times -3, put this in parentheses here, -1 times -3 is going to give me a +3. So now I have 3 equals m minus 6. Now what am I going to do? Same thing again. Draw my river, box up my variable. I'm left with -6. So instead, I'm going to add 6 to both sides. All right, because the goal in this is to get the variable to be by itself. And now my variable's by itself on this side. 3 plus 6 is going to give me 9. And then I'm done. Easy, right? Simple. All right, hold on. I got to go grab my calculator because these start getting kind of complicated. You know what I'm saying? All right. So here I have the same thing. So I would say this is G. No, I would say this is the sum of G plus 7.3 divided by 3 equals 4.2. So draw my river, box up everything that's up top. I'm left with divided by 3. So instead, I'm going to multiply by 3. That's going to cancel out. Times 3. So 4.2 times 3 is going to give me 1.26. Oh, sorry, no, 12.6. So now I have G plus 7.3 equals 12.6. So draw my river, box up my variable. I'm left with 7.3. I'm left with plus 7.3, so I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to subtract 7.3 on both sides. This right here will cancel out, and then in my calculator, I'm going to do 12.6 minus 7.3, and then I end up with 5.3 as my answer. So G equals 5.3. Simple enough. Simple enough. All right. Next up, I would say this is the difference of m minus 1.24 divided by -2 equals -2.52. So draw my river, box up my variable. I'm left with divided by -2. So instead, I'm going to multiply by -2. Y'all know I like to put my negative numbers in parentheses there. All right, so multiply both sides by -2. All right, this over here is going to cancel out, and I'm left with m minus 1.24 equals whatever 2.52 negative times 2, -2. That gives me 5.04. So again, draw my river, box up my variable. I'm left with minus 1.24. So I'm going to add 1.24 on both sides. Plus 1.24. Dang, that looks really messed up. This over here will cancel out, and I'm left with m by itself. And m is going to equal plus 1.24. M is going to equal 6.28. Boom. All right, just a few more examples. So this time, now I have a big, like I have the big multiplication sign. I have the parentheses. Still going to do the same process, right? Draw my river, and then when I box up my variable, I'm boxing up everything that's inside the parentheses, right? So I'm left with 4 on the outside of the parentheses. And we remember that that whenever we see a number next to parentheses like that, it means that it's being multiplied. So that's really, I'm left with 4 times. So instead, I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. All right, this right here is going to cancel out. Z minus 13 is what I'm left with on this side, and then 8 divided by 4 is going to give me 2. So once again, I still got my river. I'm going to box on my variable. I'm left with minus 13. So instead, I'm going to do plus 13. So plus 13 on both sides. Z, this is going to cancel out, right? Z is going to equal whatever 2 plus 13 is, which is 15. So Z equals 15, right? This is simple. This is easy. This is easy stuff. All right, last example we're going to go through here. Draw my river, box up my variable. I'm left with 3 times. So instead, I'm going to divide. So divide both sides by 3. These 3's right here are going to cancel out. And then 12 divided by 3 is going to give me 4. So now I can bring down what I boxed up. D plus 3. Box up my my variable again. I'm left with plus 3. So instead, I'm going to subtract minus 3 this time. This is going to cancel out. D is left by itself. 4 minus 3 is going to be 1. So D equals 1. Actually, you know what? We got enough time for one more. All right, last one. Promise this is the last one. I don't know, maybe. Draw my river, box up my variable. At this point, you guys should be able to get this on your own, right? I'm left with 4 times, so I'm going to divide by 4 instead. These 4's are going to cancel out, and then I'm left with y minus 15. And then 16 divided by 4 is 4. So now, box up my variable again. I'm left with minus 15, so instead I'm going to add 15. Boom. And then these right here are going to cancel each other out. And then I'm left with y by itself. 4 plus 15 equals 19. So y equals 19. There you guys go. Real simple stuff. So on the assignments that you guys are going to be working on, that's really the big thing. You're usually adding or subtracting first, but these are only examples where you have the big division bar or you have parentheses. And when you have those two, you have to multiply or divide first. That's the only thing that you guys are going to end up getting tripped up about when it comes to these. But trust your gut, have confidence. You can do it. You know how to do it. I know that you guys know how to do it. All right. I'll hit you guys up on the next video. Peace.